Good afternoon, everyone. This is Midshipman Warren from the United States Merchant Marine Academy. All right, so here's a picture of the academy. There it is. It's on Long Island. It's right across from New York. It's pretty beautiful. It's a pretty small school. It's actually the smallest one, slightly smaller than Coast Guard. As you can see, it's a very beautiful campus right on the waterfront. Got a lot of little sailboats there. Yeah, it's not like in the city. You don't really have that city feel, but you can see the city along the skyline. It's pretty nice. Beautiful view. You can go to the next slide. All right, so what do merchant mariners do? So the United States Merchant Marine, we sail all US flagged commercial and military sea lift command ships. So every container ship, oil tanker, any US flagship that we have is run by US mariners, including the Military Sea Lift Command, which transports cargo for the military. No, there's not a Navy ROTC option here. This is the only service academy to be an officer in the Merchant Marine. There are other maritime schools, but this is the only federal maritime school, and there is no ROTC program for it. You can go to the next slide. So this is what you get upon graduating the United States Merchant Marine Academy. You'll receive a Bachelor of Science degree and a commission into the military, as with every service academy. And another thing that you'll get is a U.S. Coast Guard Merchant Mariner license, which is very important. So if you go in as a deck officer, you'll get a third mate's license, or if you go in as an engineer, you get a third assistant engineer license, depending on what your major is. Basically, that's the license that allows you to sail on any sized ship. So even if you're not in the military, that license will allow you to work basically on any type of ship you want in the maritime industry. You can go to the next slide. So this is the only federal service academy that allows you to commission into any branch of the military that you want. You can choose to go active duty and go into any branch. If you want to go Air Force, Space Force, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, you can commission into any of the service academies, any of the military branches from the Merchant Marine Academy. If you choose to be in the Merchant Marine and not go active duty, yeah, so as I was saying, if you choose to sail in the Merchant Marine, you'll have to work in the industry for a minimum of 5 years and maintain your license for a minimum of 6 years. So the licenses are renewed every 5 years. So by making it 6 years, you basically just have to renew your license once. And you'll be in the Navy Reserves for a minimum of 8 years. That's the service obligation upon graduating. You can go to the next slide. But post-graduation assignments, yeah, so this is just showing the statistics for how many people go into each of the different service branches. You can see there's people going into every service branch pretty much every year. Yeah, a lot more in the Navy because it's a lot easier to commission into the Navy than it is to cross-commission into a different branch. But you can see that you can go into any service branch from the Merchant Marine Academy. You can go to the next slide. So these are our majors. There are 5 majors, 2 on the deck side and 3 on the engineering side. So on the deck side, you have marine transportation, which is the basic one, and then maritime logistics and security. That's what I'm doing. That's the it's like maritime logistics or maritime transportation, but it's basically just fancier. And then on the engineering side, you have straight engine, and then you have systems and shipyard management. So everyone who graduates will either be if you're in the Merchant Marine, you'll either be a deck officer or an engineering officer. You can go to the next slide. The world is our campus. So this is a really cool part of the Merchant Marine Academy. It's a 4-year program, but you actually only spend 3 years at the academy itself. You spend 1 year at sea getting firsthand, hands-on experience on a ship in the fleet. It's not a training ship. You actually get put on a US ship out in the fleet. People travel all over the world. I actually just got back a few weeks ago from my first sea term. I was on the Philadelphia Express. We went to Northern Europe, across the Atlantic a few times. I went to Belgium, Antwerp, and Hamburg, and London. It was pretty cool. Some of my friends, a lot of my friends actually have done the Middle East run, gone through the Mediterranean, Suez Canal, Red Sea, and then through the Middle East. One of my friends actually sailed around the Horn of Africa, which is pretty cool. But yeah, people go all over the world on all sorts of ships. It's a really neat experience. Every year there's a few people who get to go to Antarctica. It's a really great experience for just hands-on training. You'll graduate with a year of experience already, which gives you just a huge, just a ton of experience. Anyway, you can go to the next slide. A typical day at the academy. Yeah, roughly at 6. Yeah, that's pretty true. Morning inspection. It's usually just on Fridays, but yeah, that's true. Yeah, there you go. Breakfast, morning colors, classes, lunch muster, more classes, athletics. Athletics, it really depends on the sport. I mean, like I'm on the sailing team, we practice from 16 to 19. I know there's like the soccer team practices later than that. The crew team practices in the morning. Yeah, and dinner, study hall, taps usually at 22. You can go to the next slide. These are our sports. I don't know, some of our clubs. For women's, the soccer team is pretty new. That just got going. These are all the sports in the athletics department. So, we've got all the good sports. You can go to the next slide. So this is the waterfront department. So on the waterfront side, because we have such a big waterfront, we have so many great programs. So we've got the offshore sailing team and the power squadron. Those are both clubs that you can join. They just go out and sail boats for fun. We have our training ships that you can get sea days on. And then the dinghy sailing team and the rowing team are both varsity sports. As I mentioned earlier, I'm on the dinghy sailing team. It's a lot of fun. If you really love being on the water, it's just a great place to be. You can go to the next slide. Admissions process, yep. Physically fit, yeah, it's pretty much the same with the other academies. It's not too different. You got to be fit, you got to be smart, you got to get the congressional nomination, SAT scores. Yeah, this academy is pretty hard to get through. We have a much higher dropout rate than the other academies. Very selective, even once you get in. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, that's just more about the same thing. You can go to the next slide. Application process, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You can go to the athletics section of the Academy website. Yeah, you could go on to the next slide. Yeah, you can keep going. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, at the bottom there's the email address for the admissions department if you want to message them and ask them any questions.